What is up, guys? NYKF31 here. Some Madden 19 action as we discuss Madden 20 information. I'm just going to go over some things regarding what we currently know right now, mostly based off of the live stream that just went down this past Thursday, and also some information in the blogs that dropped in relation to that as well. Honestly, I would have liked to have seen more as far as, well, I thought that the information that was presented in and of itself was okay. I understand that EA Play is in a week, and that's when they're going to, that's when people are going to have opportunity to take a look at the game and kind of get their first impressions of it. And I get that they don't want to reveal too much footage-wise in advance of that. Still, I would have liked to have seen, some live motion shots here and there. And honestly, I take what is done at EA Play with more than a little bit of a grain of salt, because the past couple of years, what have we seen and heard out of EA Play? Feedback for the game has generally been very good. The people who play the game changers and whatnot, tell the devs, hey, this is great for the most part. Don't change a thing. And what happens? The beta comes out. We say more of the same things. We like this, and this. Don't change it. Fix this, and that. And we're good to go. And the game we get at launch either bears very little resemblance to how the game felt to the guys who played it at EA Play, or a laundry list of issues that people pointed out in the beta were still in the game at launch and needed either a release day patch to stabilize things or a patch not too soon after to get a lot of those bugs addressed, and then of course subsequent patches and tunings in the 4 to 6 weeks afterwards, and on and on and on. There's going to be a point where we're going to have to be past that, where the game comes out with a lot more polish after EA Play, betas, feedback, and all of that. We're going to have to get to that point eventually, or this cycle is just going to burn people out. I do give them a lot of credit for rolling out more information earlier and communicating with these live streams and blogs better than they had certainly last year and the year before that. Myself, I want to hear more out of Clint and Adub and less from everybody else. That's just me. I want to hear as much information as far as deep gameplay mechanics, AI, playbooks, mechanic functionality, player interactions, etc. Now, the last live stream that they did centered around the Rpos a great deal, and I gotta tell you, I'm still really skeptical as far as how this is all going to work out. There's a couple of things that bother me more than just a little bit as far as how this is going to work on the field, or potentially work or not work on the field. This is a game that for the past couple of years, the zone read game has been barely functional. And these two weekend league games that you're going to be seeing, I'm running the run and shoot and the spread playbooks, by the way, as a segue into the spread RPO stuff that I'm going to be talking about. But you have a game here where zone read barely is functional as far as being able to read defenders, get your QB out of the backfield smoothly, or on the give read, get good second level blocks. You can't run power read at all. That gets blown up instantaneously. And the QB run game isn't much of a factor as well as far as designed QB runs, such as QB powers, QB counter, QB dives. That's been watered down substantially over the years. And now what you're doing is adding another layer on top of that. So in a vacuum, in and of itself, the fact that RPOs are in the game gets people excited. But what's frustrating to me, and I cringe at some of the stuff that I read and hear, is that there's a real lack of understanding by the Madden community as a whole as far as how RPOs work, how they're designed, and how they're defended. And I just have a little bug in my brain that tells me there are going to be either really overpowered elements to this, or they're not going to quite work as well as what we're hearing. When I hear things about QB runs, such as the defenders will take a little longer to react to them due to having to read the play, and the QB is going to be allowed more freedom of movement behind the line of scrimmage, that is potentially a problem. That tells me that in order to get some of this stuff to work, you're going to have to water down the defense and basically cheat to make the play work. That's kind of what they do to bubble screens. In order to get the bubble screen to work, they have to manipulate the apex defender so that he does not recognize that a pass is being run, right away and just cut it every single time. So when you add another layer onto that, what you're telling me, and again, I'm just, presuming, but if the play is going to be functional correctly, you would have also had to have corrected an awful lot of stuff this cycle that has plagued the game, for a couple of years now, as far as making basic inside zone, outside zone read type of plays functional. You need to have had fixed the handoffs. You need to have had to fix the blocking targeting to the second level. The QB being able to get out of the backfield smoothly on his zone read keep. And you've also addressed how receivers get into their routes for the RPO element of it. Route combos and RPO plays are not very exotic. They're pretty much bubble screens, backside choice routes, hitch, fade, quick slant type of choice route options, or a quick hitting pop pass, because the line in RPO, they're blocking like a run play, and they can only get so far up the field before being called for a penalty. Now, if they're always going to be in run blocking mode, are these linemen going to be able to identify not only the guys in front of them or at the second level at the linebacker depth, will they be able to identify blitzers that come in these odd front blitzes that so wreak havoc with the current line targeting AI? If not, these plays are going to get blown up in the backfield before they even get started. These are the things that I think about. Not only do we have to talk about the stuff that's been added to the game, we have to talk about and question how much of the stuff that has plagued the game has been fixed to get these things to work, or has a solution to get it to work has been to dumb down the defense. That's my concern with this. I mean, look at Kyler Murray here stuck in the mud before he can, get into a situation where I can spin and get some yards there. Is that stuck in the mud motion gone, combined with the defense being slower? If so, that could potentially be an overpowered situation. And again, how effective are those pass routes going to be against users? I really liked what I heard about the pass trajectories and not being able to reach balls that are over your head as a user backer. But how is user motion is going to be affected when the guy that you're kicking in your RPO is the user defender? If he takes some false steps, is he still going to be able to get back out to cut off that quick hitch, that skinny post, or that quick slant off the RPO? Will alignment need to matter more so that you can outflank a defense with that jet sweep motion, either with the keep if they overcommit to their jet sweep with the quarterback, or if you give it and they're base aligned and they're pinched in tight and there's no one to hold the edge, or throwing the ball to the jet defender, the motioned receiver, again because they're pinched, base aligned, and outflanked. How is all this stuff balanced? And again, going back to the ball trajectory and user alert aspect, if we're not going to be able to get to as many balls with our user by being reckless, and more of a premium is going to have to be paid to guys who are really skilled at reading and reacting to plays and anticipating where you're going to throw, as opposed to being able to have best of both worlds where you can bite in shallow and get back deep, is the defense around us going to be better so that we can play that assignment with confidence, or make that read on what we think the user is going to be throwing with confidence? Basically what I'm saying is that a lot of stuff had to have been enhanced around these additions in order to make it something that is functional and balanced. And based off of recent history that we have seen and heard from EA, how much dev time has been allocated to making that happen. We just don't know it yet. Because we haven't seen it yet. We just don't know how it's going to play out. we know the history of these dev cycles. Not everything's going to get in time, and not everything that gets in is going to be um, working perfectly at launch. That's a given. We know this. But I can forgive that if the overall polish of the product is much better at launch. Now, out of these things I've spoken about, I'm most concerned with how the defense is going to be reacting to all of this. RPOs work because they try to conflict players. They try to conflict the apex defenders over the slots. They try to conflict numbers in the box by optioning either a linebacker or a defensive lineman. It really puts pressure on the defense to set their fronts properly, be gap sound, and to not overcommit, which is challenging. You're really testing the eye discipline of the defenders as far as reading their keys and not overcommitting and being able to react to what they see. If the apex defenders get drawn in by run action, they leave the bubble screen open, or if a safety who would be in position to rob the quick slant off of the choice route RPO, if he comes up too soon, that gets thrown right behind him. Stuff like that. What teams like to do, they like to either walk out their nickel and drop down their safety, either or both. And on the weak side, they'll use the weak side safety to bracket the single side choice route. And they basically try to dictate to the offense, okay, we're going to make you hand the ball off. Or if you decide not to pull it out, we're going to make you either fire the ball into traffic or throw low completion percentage chance fades to the outside. One of the two. If you want to see a good example of an RPO offense getting completely dismantled, look at Notre Dame Clemson or Notre Dame Miami. Clemson basically said, okay, the only throw you're going to be able to make are fades. If you run it, we think our front is better than yours, and if you want to take a shot downfield when you pull it out to throw the ball, we believe our corners are better than your receivers. But what you're not going to see in an RPO offense is a bunch of really long developing exotic route combinations. 25, 30 yards downfield. But again, the offensive line, by rule, can only be downfield so many yards. That's another thing I have a question about. Are those penalties going to be enforced in head-to-head comp mode with RPOs? Or are linemen are just going to be allowed to go upfield with impunity? Or is that strictly going to be an offline or online CFM, online league, sim mode type of affair, as far as that's concerned? So that's my major sticking point as of right now until we learn more information. I do like a lot of things. I love the ball trajectory, user lurk thing. There's a lot of guys the past couple of years who think they're better user defenders than they really are. I love what I hear about the defensive line contain and mush rush for the mobile QBs. I love that aggressive pass rush is gone and that they're going to be tuning the pass rush to be more true to life, realistic in place of that. Those are all great things. Your icon is disappearing if you're dropping back too far when you're scrambling around. And I even feel much better about the superstar traits and the X Factor stuff. But everything else, I really need to see what they've done as far as how they're going to be getting a lot of this to work. More so on the RPO stuff and the play action and the blocking and route running that goes along with that, as well as how the defense is going to be responding. So those are my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.